We're going to revisit a very basic exercise of drawing a ball, or in art speak, the sphere, using graded tone to give it a three-dimensional spherical look. I have here a ping pong ball, which is an easy source to draw from if you don't have a classic plaster cast of a ball. We've done a bit of this before, and it's easy to approach even the idea of doing it again with a ho-hum attitude, or even a, oh no, not this again. So to have some fun with it, or for those who just really, for whatever reason, are not interested in really mastering the sphere itself, we have the option of putting the ball somewhere, such as in a room, which I did here, and I, just for fun, manipulated the proportions. This is not a new idea. Most of us know the story of Alice in Wonderland, where she ends up in some very small spaces and some very large ones as well. So I thought that might be a target we could use to learning how to draw the sphere, or continuing to work on it. So from an artistic standpoint, learning to draw the sphere is beneficial because the skill can be applied to many other objects we might want to draw. We know the shape of things because of the way light falls on it. So the light falls differently on a rock that has that kind of shape than it does on a sphere. From a universal standpoint, the sphere is so much a part of our life, whether we think about it or not. Our Earth is a sphere, as are the stars and the planets. The circle is often talked about as the symbol of completion or wholeness. In Tai Chi, the Tai Chi ball that is formed throughout the movements with the hands is referred to as a container for the Qi, or energy. So there are several steps to keep in mind in doing the sphere, some practical issues, and then a huge dose of patience is helpful. And doing a number of them even in one setting is not a bad idea. The first thing to do is to observe the sphere. And if we have natural light, that can sometimes be good. If we have a lamp, that can contrast the different shades of gray and the hot spot, so to speak, that one light place that you'll find on a sphere. Sometimes using a more intense light is helpful, as in a flashlight. That will exaggerate the core shadow, which is the shadow that falls on the object itself, and the cast shadow, which is the shadow that is on the place the sphere is resting on or against. These days, most of us have smartphones that have a flashlight app. I can't show you mine because I'm using it to film this, but that's also an option. There are also gadgets like this that can be clipped to something, and that would be stationary, unlike a flashlight that you would have to hold or figure out how to rig on something permanent. So simply observing the different tones, and again we go back to our exercise of just looking at grades from very dark to the lightest and then many in between. And that's what we see on the sphere and what we're aiming to draw, because that's what gives it its round shape. And my suggestion is to start small, because you don't want to be spending a lot of time toning with the pencil. I'm using just a regular pencil here. Vine charcoal is also an option it will fill in space very quickly, but it is sometimes difficult to handle. But I use it on the side and get the sphere going like this, and I find that repeated circular motions help me to get a good round sphere. Apparently getting a freehand circle is a good mental exercise, so that's not a bad thing. Once I do that, I can get some tone going, and because it's vine charcoal, I can go in and identify the hot spot. That's the very lightest place there, and then soften those edges. And it will take graphite over the top of that, so I can go in and work on the different grades of tone that I need. I'm going to identify the cast shadow, which is an ellipse, and it starts right about the mid. Well, it depends, of course, on the subject that you're looking at. So that cast shadow can start over here, or if the light is up here, it's going to be further around. I'm going to make mine start right here, and it's darkest next to the object. Always darkest and sharpest next to the object, and as it goes out, this is true of all shadow, as it goes out, the edges get softer and softer and softer, and that's the way we see things. So I would continue with this and continue being patient and just reviewing how I'm coming with the variation of tone. So I'm looking at this and thinking that I need it to be darker down in here. So I'm just going to continue to go back and forth. And with graphite, of course, we can manipulate with the eraser. We can use it as a blending tool. We can actually take tone up if it's too dark, so we can go back and forth like that. And just continue until this image that I'm looking at says ball to me. The way I would start with just the graphite pencil, again, is to do multiple circles like so, and then go back and define the edge. And it's pencil on paper, so I always have my handy eraser. If I go astray a little bit, then I would define my cast shadow here, which is an ellipse, and begin that. And I'm going to define the hot spot, which is here, and kind of protect that, even though I could erase that out, but it's a little harder with pencil. And then continue on with the tone and getting a variation of very dark here, lighter here, even lighter up here, and completely white in that little hot spot there. And again, with the eraser, I can use it as a blending tool. I'm going very lightly now. Of course, if I press, I take off the pencil. And then go back and further define. Can also use a stump, which I can't find mine right now, but this is a blending tool for colored pencils, and it works with graphite as well. So that's also a possibility. And again, some blending can be done. And then go back in if you like a real smooth look. That's one way to get it. So I would just continue until it has a good spherical look. Real quickly, how I did the rooms here with the ball. I started with just a line drawing of a room, and for the hovering ball, I just drew a circle that went over that the ceiling edge there and the window, and then I just erased out that part and then continued to get the tone, and then I put the shadow, which makes it look like it's hovering. And the same with the ball resting again. I have another room here. I drew the ball resting on the floor. And then erased out the part that you wouldn't see. And then proceeded with my shadow here. There's also another fun thing I did was with a plastic spoon. I practiced drawing my spoon here, and then I just decided to hang it on the wall with a nail, just to make it a little more fun.